Welcome back to Daily Connections. I've joined Suzanne in the kitchen and she'll prepare step-by-step instructions on making the perfect pie crust. And she'll use it to prepare an irresistible broccoli mushroom quiche. Yay!
Yeah,
I like quiche. Good. So since you have so much going on today, why don't we just get started? And
okay.
Then as we
well, we're going to keep the filling stuff over there, and
okay.
This is where we're going to start with our pie crust.
Great.
I have some flour in the bowl here, and I'm going to add. This is about a cup of flour.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a little bit of salt.
All right.
And this is shortening.
Oh,
vegetable shortening. The best thing to do is to have it cold, because our object here is to keep shortening in little tiny pieces. We want little flecks of it in there. Okay. And that's the point behind this nifty tool that so many people probably have in their drawer, and they're not sure what they're supposed to do with it, other than let it jam up the drawer all the time.
Exactly, and get stuck in the back.
There you go. And what it is it's just cutting the fat into the flour.
Okay.
Now, it could be butter.
It can be butter.
It can be butter. The difference with butter is that when you use an all butter crust, sometimes the pie crust will actually shrink, because there's water in butter, and it'll evaporate, and it'll cause the crust to shrink and be misshapen, and it won't look as beautiful as when you started out. But
and the shortening does not do that?
The shortening does not, because there's no liquid in there to evaporate.
It's just straight up. What is it?
It's a vegetable product. It is a fat, and it's, a lot of people have some problems with it these days with their diets and whatnot, but it really is the best thing for making a nice flaky crust.
And there's not that much in there, really. I mean,
no, there's not, and you're only having a slice, so it's not so bad. You can treat yourself.
So you just cut that in and mush it in to get little
you're cutting
pieces?
It up, and you can see it's got kind of a grainy consistency. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
We don't want to have any big chunks of shortening in there, because what they'll do is they'll melt and they'll leave a hole in the crust. We just want to have these little tiny flecks. And we don't want to go around so far that we mush it up and it turns into a dough right away, because we still have water that has to get added in there.
Oh, okay.
And
so you do add water, though?
We're going to add some water. We're going to add a few spoonfuls to start off with, and then we're going to get a little messy, because I'm going to start out with 3. It's really going to depend on the atmosphere and the day that you're making it, because flour can absorb moisture from the air.
Oh,
so if you're working in humidity, it might take less water. In other cases, you might take more. But you can see I'm just kind of tossing it around with my fingertips here.
And it's something you definitely want to use your fingers for.
Yeah,
that's
but
the best way.
You don't want to overwork it. And
yeah, you're fluffing it nice and light.
Right. And if you get to this point and you still have a little crumbly stuff in there, you can just take a little water on your fingertips and drizzle it in.
Okay. Now, you said before that this is cold water, ice cold water?
Ice cold water, because it helps keep the shortening solid.
Oh,
And I actually take the shortening and put it in the fridge, measure it out, or put it in the freezer even, so it's nice and solid.
No kidding.
Now you see, this is coming together, but it's still kind of crumbly. And that's the major mistake that people make with pie crust. They think that they're going to go with less water, and that's going to make it more flaky.
Okay.
But what happens is they go with so little that they have a dry crust, and they get all frustrated because they're trying to roll it, and it's breaking. And
Got it.
We want something that's kind of like Play-Doh.
Okay. I know Play-Doh.
Yeah, I bet. See, feel that.
All right.
Nice and soft.
Gummy.
Right. And something that's going to hold together in a big blob like this.
A big blob.
Yep.
But so it doesn't break off and stuff like that.
We don't want to overwork it, as that will also help make it tough.
Okay.
But we want something that looks like this. And if you look closely, I don't know if the viewers can see it, but there's you can see little marbleizing
breaking apart
of the white little shortening stripes in there. And that's what we're looking for.
I got you.
Now, at this point, I've already made some over here, because we wouldn't want to roll this out because it's kind of soft. We would wrap it up in the way that I have here.
Just like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice flat disc is going to help in the rolling process, because it's already kind of getting started in the process, right?
Okay, good.
We don't have to push on it too hard.
How long would I leave that in the fridge for?
About a half an hour is just fine.
Okay.
Now what we want to do is roll this out on, we have this nice beautiful piece of marble here, which is ideal.
Do you need this?
Nope, you can take that back.
All right.
I'm going to put a little flour on the board and a little flour on the pie crust itself.
All right.
And I'm going to take my pen and just start pushing it around.
You're good at
if
that.
it's not moving, I'm going to bop that. then you know it's sticking underneath there. You want to get underneath there.
And get some flour
and get
underneath.
some underneath there, yep.
Wow.
Now, you know what I would like to do while I'm rolling this?
Okay.
Maybe you can come over here on the other side and we can talk a little bit about the filling because it's very simple.
Okay.
Today's quiche is broccoli and mushroom, and we have some diced onion in there as well.
Ooh.
Now, you could put those vegetables in there raw.
Okay.
If you want to. You can once you take that whisk and break those 4 eggs up for me.
Okay. So 4 eggs.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. But there's a lot of half and half there.
Okay. So that's not too bad. So I got some eggs.
Yep. You could put them in without cooking them, but I did saute them in butter a little bit.
Oh, that makes sense.
A little bit of flavor.
Cooks them a little bit so they're not too hard.
Yeah, and it makes that broccoli nice and green. It brings out that vibrance.
Should I pour this in now?
Go ahead.
The whole
Whisk
thing.
in the 2 cups of half and half.
Half and half. 2
Yeah.
cups. Okay.
Now you see, I've got a nice round crust here.
Oh, wow, look at that.
And the reason it's round is because I remembered to roll in 4 directions.
Aha.
I did not go back and forth and end up with an egg shape.
Aha.
People
That's the
forget.
trick. 4 ways.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Great. Now, should I put everything else in here too?
You can put our sauteed vegetables in there.
So I like that. So you saute these up just for a couple minutes, not a long time. Just to soften them up, get the flavoring in there, butter.
And you also have a cup of cheese that you're going to put in there. And it can be your favorite kind of cheese. It could be mozzarella. It could be Swiss, whatever you'd like.
I see that you have a mix here.
Yep. That's a little, I believe, cheddar Monterey Jack.
Ooh.
Now,
I like that.
You've got our filling ready, but we have to get our crust prepared to put it into.
You got it.
I'm going to take my nice little scraper here, and you're going to see where this is such a handy tool. And I'm going to wrap that crust back over the pin, and then I'm going to very carefully, this is the part where people hold their breath, and drop it right in there.
And exhale.
Don't panic if you've got a little crack there.
No big deal.
No, because what we have is our little water here.
You repair it.
Our water
mending.
is like glue. It's just going to seal that up for us.
Great.
And we can push this right in here. Lift it up. Make sure it's all down into the bottom.
Oh, that's really cool.
Isn't that great? And now all this stuff that's overhung here, I'm just going to kind of pinch it up.
Okay.
And that's going to make a nice little edge. If you have a spot where you really went overboard, you can
trim it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's really simple. I think pretty much everyone out there thinks it's a lot more complicated than it actually is, including myself. But to see that, that's very simple.
And you can leave it just like this, or you can go around and make a little decorative edge. You could press it with the tines of a fork. But now we've got our crust all ready to go.
That's great. And then, so your ingredients, you just have the egg, the half and half, and then the vegetables.
Yep.
And I can probably put whatever I really wanted else in there.
Whatever you want. You can get creative. I'm going to poke a couple little holes in the bottom here just to let some steam escape if it gets trapped.
Okay.
And then gently
so that fills the whole entire thing.
Pour our mixture in there, just making sure that everybody that eats it gets a piece of broccoli.
There you go.
Push it around.
That's a good idea, right? Make sure you even it out throughout. I like that too.
And that's it. This is going to go into our 425-degree oven.
425.
But only for 15 minutes. And then we turn it down to a lower temperature, 300, to let it set. And that's going to take a while, about 45 minutes.
So an initial bake and then a simmer, pretty much.
Now you can see the finished product over here because we have this one cooling.
That's nice.
Had it all nice and baked up.
We'll put that in the oven
you don't really want to. You don't really want to cut into it right away as soon as it comes out because it'll be a little loose.
Is that right?
So we let it sit for 10 minutes or so, and we should be able to
that's
get
it,
a
10
nice
minutes. That's
cut.
not too bad.
Yeah. But you know what? It's a beautiful thing to make ahead of time too. You can reheat it. You can serve it at room temperature.
That's good for when company's coming over. You know, it's real simple.
And the thing about the pie crust too is you could do your pie crust and put the dough in the refrigerator, or even roll it out and line the pan and have that in the refrigerator.
Right.
And that's because that's the tricky part. That's the part you want to take your time with.
So do that in advance, and then do the rest when they get there.
Yeah.
Because then that's fresh. Then I bake it, then I cool it, and then we eat it.
And you can see
That's good.
You get a good, substantial number of pieces out
Wow,
of
look at that. You really do. That's great. And this is great because I'm all about the protein. So you've got a lot of protein in here, the vegetables. Very nice, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to try this.
Go for it.
Since I'm hungry.
Good? And you can really imagine all different things in there, right?
That's delicious.
You can do asparagus, you can do spinach, different types of cheeses change the flavor.
That is so good.
Yeah.
That's great. It's like the cheese and the broccoli is what I'm tasting a lot of. It's so creamy and light.
Yeah, and you could do all different sorts of mushrooms in there, too, if you're a real mushroom lover.
That's right. You can get creative with that.
Peppers.
Anything.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Awesome.